Hey everyone, I thought I'd show you today kind of a real simple, effective way to organize your kit. You know, keeping all those little small items together so you don't lose them. Many times as the seasons progress, I change from one camo or to a different backpack. And years ago, I had all my items loose and things would get misplaced or slide down the couch. So my kit now is kind of dummified in a way where I can, no matter what I'm doing, if my wife and I choose to head off to Winnipeg, I can grab the really quick items, throw them in a street type backpack, and I have my kit. It's with me. Now I'm not talking about, like a hatchet or a tarp or your cook kit. I'm talking about the really small items. So let's have a look. I have my small items basically broken down into 6 little kit bags. So I have my light and navigation, my fire kit, basically a knife multi-tool kit, a hygiene kit, paracord, and water. So let's start going through the little kit bags and you can see what I have inside. In my knife and multi-tool little dry bag, I keep a whetstone, so that way I can keep a really nice edge on my Buck 110. And also as a backup, I have a Smith's sharpener. So this has a carbide and a little stone on the inside. Now I keep the pouches I keep the tools in the pouches. That way, if I'm in a situation and I want to put this Buck 110 on my hip or the Leatherman multi-tool, that's available to me. So this is the Leatherman super tool. Super tool is really important to have. You never know when you gotta cut through a chain link fence or fix something. Multiple uses. I like the Buck 110. My dad used it for many years. I mean, you can, from skinning out a deer, dispatching an animal, to, processing a little bit of tinder to make a fire. Buck 110 will pretty much do it all. So it is a great all-around knife. In my light and nav bag, I keep my Garmin eTrex 22X. Man, this thing works excellent. I used it on our canoe trip this summer as a backup with my map, and awesome for knowing where you are. I also carry a compass, a Silva compass, an emergency mirror. Obviously not just for signaling, you can use it for shaving, things like that. And I have a emergency whistle. I also keep a headlamp in a little case just to keep the button from getting pushed on. A flashlight, my Ranger pace counting beads, and a Right in the Rain notepad with a small map of the area and backup batteries. Now you notice I have dummy cords on certain items. So I keep these items in the bag, and then if I'm wearing kit like a smock or something as the weather gets colder, then I can put certain items in my pockets and attach them, and they're readily accessible. So this is my light and navigation kit. This is my fire kit. So I keep lots of tinder type items in here. There's some dried birch bark, some fire lighting impregnated cotton from a Dave Canterbury kit, some regular cotton, some cotton with some Vaseline, jute twine, and different pieces of birch bark. So I have lots of little pieces of tinder lighting material that will readily light quickly, to get a fire going. So there's some stormproof matches. So this is a Strike Force fire steel. It's nice. It has a little cap here so you can actually store some cotton or type tinder material in there. And then I keep a fire steel in here. This is a 5" by half from firesteel.com and 4 lighters. Now I keep 2 fire steels and extra lighters because, as I stated before, if I'm putting a smock on or some other kit, I can take this fire steel, I can tether it to my belt, have it in my pocket, and throw a couple lighters in my pocket while still having all these items still in my fire kit. So it's just a very quick and easy way for me to streamline this gear. Now, my Paracord Kit bag is set up to fulfill multiple roles. It's designed so that I can use straight with a tarp. I also have the paracord in here for when I want to use a hammock type setup. So just recently we were on our canoe trip and the boys wanted to use the hammock. So I had my 4 corners to tie off on the tarp and then a long one to do my main ridgeline. We also did another setup where we didn't have the proper things to set up the hammock, so I set up a triangle type style with the tarp, and then I was able to run another one so that I could hook up the mosquito net. Now I also keep various ready-made tie-offs with a few carabiners, and I keep the carabiners in case I need to make lanyards. So I've got multiple different lengths, short lengths, some a little bit longer, so that if I need to make some lashing or different things, I've got some various lengths of paracord at the ready. So paracord's really important, and so I've kind of have it set up so that it can fulfill multiple functions and it's ready to go. In my hygiene kit, I keep some Dr. Bonner's like peppermint style liquid soap. This is really nice stuff and it's not harmful to the environment. So I put, when I was camping, just a few drops and was able to, you know, get my arms washed, and then a few more drops, wash up your body, stay clean. Well, it was really nice and you smell great. Little quick toothbrush, some toilet paper. This is some Bag Bomb salve, which works really good. It's a like an antiseptic, so if you get a little cut or something or your lips chapped, you can put that on. Keep some Tums, because you never know when somebody gets heartburn, and found that out on our canoe trip. My son was like, "Dad, you got some Tums?" And I keep some Aleve. Sometimes I get really bad headaches when the weather changes. Some wet wipes, really important. Keep that butt area clean. A fresh razor I have in here, because after about 3 days, I'm ready for a shave. And also I keep in here this is a Canadian Forces surplus sewing kit. So it's got various lengths of thread and things like that, so you can do a quick patch job on some clothing. So yeah, this is the hygiene kit. This is my water kit bag. Now it's more or less set up kind of as an emergency backup. As you can see here, I have a Sawyer Mini. Now I also keep a bag of crushed salt, which really is important. If you're sweating lots, you need to get those salt levels back up in your body, which is really important for hydration. Your body needs salt. So, and this here is a Millbank bag, so you can scoop up dirty water and then it'll filter through here into your cup or canteen, and then you can either boil it or add water purification tablets. I keep the water purification tablets more as a kind of a last resort backup, you know, to meet your hydration needs. So you can see how organizing your kit is really important, especially when you got lots of little items. I know you can get backpacks and things where you can start to put little items in these packs, but if you're like me and always experimenting and trying out different pieces of gear and kit, it gets very easy to misplace things, and I've done that many times in the past. Now you don't have to use the dry bags. I've actually used kids' school pencil cases before. They work as well. I like the dry bag though, that in case, you know, rain or water, things get splashed on, well, it keeps the contents dry. So this is kind of like the survival scout tip for organizing small pieces of kit. I hope you all are having a great summer, and we'll talk to you again. Bye now.